Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. Today we're going to go over the basics of how to hot foil, and we'll be using a Spellbinders Glimmer hot foiling system. For this first section right here, this is in real time. I did not speed this up and I did not trim any video out of it because I wanted you to see how long it actually takes to foil something. A hot foil is a different texture and a different thickness than regular like deco foil is. Deco foil also requires some sort of medium between the foil and the paper itself, like toner from a printer or pre-printed patterned papers, like sticky embossing powder, or some sort of adhesive in between those two things. Hot foil does not. Hot foil is a thinner foil, and it utilizes the heat from the plate and pressure to press it in to the paper, so you also get a little bit of a letterpress look along with it. Hot foiling systems that are on the market, Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system, which is what I'm using now, and even the Crafter's Companion one, both utilize a die cutting machine to apply the pressure. So you have to have also a die cutting machine like a Platinum 6, a Big Shot, or the Crafter's Companion one. The entire base plate of this comes out and it replaces your cutting plate and your base plate in your die cutting machine. I'm not going to show that part because it will be really obvious once you take everything out and look at it how it goes in. So here I have a couple of tips for you. If you're going to do a background like I'm doing now, make sure your paper is oversized. Make sure that your foil sheet isn't too big, because then you get the overhang and it can foil in places that you don't want it to, just from the pressure of the plate in your die cutting machine. If you do find foil on your paper where you don't want it, you can use a sand eraser to lightly buff out the foil and it won't even show up on the paper. About 3 minutes for the system to heat up and have the ready light come on. I did turn that on before we started the video so it wouldn't take quite as long, but it takes about 3 minutes for it to heat up. Once it's all heated up and you put your plate on there and you get your sandwich done, which it is plate, your Glimmer plate, foil, ugly side up, the silver side always goes up, the pretty side always goes towards the plate. Then you have your paper, and then you have your two shims, and you're going to take all of that out and put it over in your die cutting machine. Once you have that all done, you're going to push the button for the timer. It's going to heat the bottom plate up enough for that plate to have the perfect temperature evenly all the way across and have great foiling results. Be careful. It's not instantly hot when you first touch it, but if you left your hand on the metal or that base plate for very long, it would cause you a burn. The Glimmer hot foil system comes with a pair of magnetic tongs and a silicone mat for you to set your hot plates over on when you're done. When you run it through your die cutting machine, you're going to think, man, that's not doing anything because you're used to so much tension when you're doing die cutting itself. This does not have that kind of tension to it. It just goes through and applies pressure evenly across the entire surface, and that's all you need. Before you pull the foil off, cool your paper off just a little bit, and then you can peel that top sheet back and have these gorgeous results. The card that I'm doing today is entirely foiling. All the elements on it are going to be foiled, so you can see this process repeated 3 times and see how easy it is. There's tons of different options for foil, for everything from solid colors, matte colors, golds, greens, pearls, you name it. There's a beautiful foil out there for it. Just remember that deco foil will not work with this system. It is not hot foil. That is a transfer foil that requires an additional adhesive medium between the foil and your paper. Now, if you run your foiling system through and you run it through your die cut machine and there's no foil on it, make sure that your foil is on the right side and that you didn't just foil your dies. I've done that a dozen times, not paying attention to what I'm doing. I've also, you can see on my shims, I've actually foiled my shims instead of paper because I forgot to put the paper in there. Stuff like that happens all the time. You're not ruining anything. Don't worry about it. Just wipe off the foil off of whatever it's on and go forward. That's it. It's super, super simple. So all of these systems, the Glimmer hot foil system and the Crafter's Companion systems, work very similarly. Some might have more buttons on them than others, but all of them work off the same premise. They have that base plate that gets hot. You put your foiling plates on there, let them come to temperature, and you put your foil on it and your paper, and you run it through your die cutting machine. Most all of them work that way. You can also foil a die. So if you have a favorite background die, use it as a background. It has that really delicate line around it, then just trim the piece out and put it in as your background panel. Just keep in mind that once you foil it, if it's a die, you won't be able to cut that same piece because you would be cutting through your foil lines at that point. Foiling is a great way to add sparkle and shine without it coming off like glitter does for your cards. And there are more companies coming out with more foiling plates than ever before. There's even a solid foil plate so that you can take that negative, like that line that's right there at the right below my die right there. I could take that with a solid plate and run it through and have that inverted stripe on my card background. Some companies that are doing this, of course, are Spellbinders, Pinkfresh Studios, and Crafter's Companion, and there's several other companies that are doing foiling plates. Not as prevalent, but there's still some other companies out there that are doing some foiling plates. If you have deco foil and a laminator, there's a lot of companies out there that are doing the toner printed products that you just run them through your laminator with a piece of parchment paper and deco foil, and once you peel it off, you have this beautiful element. Maker Forte, Unity and Company, Gina K, even Deco Foil has some products of their own that are printed products for you to run through your laminator. If you have a laminator and it doesn't work, your laminator might not be hot enough to reactivate the toner for the foil to adhere to it. You might need a hotter laminator. Just kind of some tips there for some other for other foiling options. And of course, if you're a complete DIYer and you have a laser printer at home, you can try printing your own elements to put on your card and foil. Just keep in mind that not all toner will foil. It's just something in them that no matter how hot it is, it just will not foil. Just kind of keep that in mind and lower your frustration level, knowing that sometimes it just is not going to work. Which is one reason why I love hot foil, because I don't have any doubt that it's going to work. Every time I have ever done it, it has worked. It might not be perfectly straight because I didn't take the time enough to line everything up that I needed to, but that's my only issue that I have, is that things aren't straight. So I have learned to oversize my paper and trim things down and go from there and die cut sentiments. It is so much more consistent than using like deco foil and a laminator. That's just my opinion. I hope this has taken some of the fear factor out of hot foiling for you and a little bit of how to. It's super easy, it's super fun, adds that pop to every card that you make. And I'm going to have links in the description below and over on my blog for all of your hot foiling needs. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.